The final episode of Kung Fu Panda, The Dragon Knight, has arrived. In Season 3, Episode 19 titled, The Dragon Knights Part 2, Pa and his friends refuse to give up in the fight against Alfie. Although Alfie is stronger than ever, Pangea is collapsing. This is their last chance to save the world and destroy the Tianshang weapons for good. Will they succeed, or will the series finale end on a cliffhanger? Klaus needs to contact the ancient masters, which is the last thing Alfie wants to happen. As he sends his dead army sentinels after him, he battles both Wandering Blade and Pa. Our heroic duo manages to either obtain a Tianshang weapon or at least part of a weapon. A lot of clever moves are made by Pa and Wandering Blade, but Alfie continues to be nearly unstoppable. Finally speaking her mind, Alfie and Wandering Blade's mother steps in, begging her son to stop. She realizes how her love for him, even after death, left none for her daughter. Her interference becomes the one thing that can stop Alfie. Alfie mistakenly harms his mother in the process and immediately comes to his senses. As if he somehow broke free from a spell, he collapses with guilt for not only harming his mother but creating the mess that continually gets worse. The world of Alfie's new Pangea is literally collapsing with no signs of stopping. Klaus, with the help of Veruca, his sister's spirit, contact the ancient masters. Pa pleads with them to help, however they are too late. The world will still be destroyed. Unable to accept this horrific fate, Pa urges them to pull the lands apart again. If this is to work, the Tianshang weapons will be destroyed in the process. This means that all the dead, like Alfie and Veruca, will be gone for good. For Wandering Blade and Klaus, this is goodbye to their siblings. Excuse me while I grab a tissue. Together, the ancient masters use their combined powers in a marvelous display. They are able to save the world, destroy the Tianshang weapons, and most of all, find peace. The series finale concludes with Pa sharing what happens to all of our heroes after Alfie's defeat. The Queen of England presents Wandering Blade with the highest honor, wishing her to lead the knights. However, Wandering Blade turns it down and offers the position to Colin. The best part is when Colin asks Blade out for a date afterward. How wholesome! Agna got to return home and make toys for everyone again, while Rukmini naturally returned home and became the new pirate queen. Mr. Ping and Firuzan are still dating and working together to create all kinds of soups for customers. As for Pa, he and Wandering Blade are best friends and enjoy traveling and tasting all kinds of foods together. There is always this strange feeling that comes over me when a television show concludes. Whether it had 1 season or 11, in some cases, I am left with this sense of looking at the world with a new perspective. Although I had been familiar with Pa of the Kung Fu Panda film franchise, Kung Fu Panda, The Dragon Knight felt like new territory for me. The Furious Five were absent, and any sense of the world outside of Po's home or the fight scenes from the films was completely foreign to me. We didn't get to see much of China in the films. Nor did we get to meet a lot of new characters outside of the heroes and villains. This is where Kung Fu Panda, The Dragon Knight took a risk. Was it going to be a pathetic attempt at world building, while failing at telling a thrilling story? Or was it going to be a success no one saw coming? As much as I love Pa as a DreamWorks animated character, I still had my doubts going in. Pa, all the same, was the main draw for me. Yes, he is the reason I watched the whole show. I was surprised to see that he still had a story to tell all these years later. Keep in mind the first Kung Fu Panda film was released in 2008. I was equally surprised that the core group of characters I've come to know and love from the films are completely absent. In fact, there is no mention of any of them. Sure, some characters didn't really thrill me, but the ones who did, really did. As always, the villains delivered and stole the show. They always do. There is something about them that really just grabs your attention, regardless of what else is happening on screen. They are creatively designed from the animal they are, to their backstory and even the weapons they use. Klaus and Veruca were an impeccable duo. The decision to make them siblings really drives home the future dilemma viewers would have, where we know they are the villains, but we still sympathize with them, I won't go on about other characters who drove the story forward, like Colin. Let's be honest, we know he's awesome. Like most television shows, even ones I am still very invested in, some episodes weren't that engaging. Yes, I'll admit at times the plot felt as though it was dragging a bit, but I will also admit, it actually benefited the show in the end. I lost count at how many plot twists there were and how many times I laughed at the humor. The show is over and didn't leave room for a cliffhanger, which makes me wonder what the fourth installment of Kung Fu Panda will be about. I am very excited to learn more about the upcoming film, even though I can't write about it for Show Snob, TV only, I'm afraid. But I look forward to seeing where Poe's story continues to go. Whether this will be the last entry in Poe's story or not, he'll never be far away from my heart.